Right. Very good. Okay. Cool. Copy. Hi, Denise.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
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 I'm glad you got signed on. I was having trouble at first, but I just went online and did some
Okay.
troubleshooting and
Oh,
found out
good.
that it takes a little while for
Oh,
um, the Hangouts thing to kind of catch up so that I can
oh,
go live. So
oh,
I don't have to
okay.
panic. I just have to wait and see.
Oh, got it. Yeah, because the first time I tried it was it was weird, but now it's good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so
Great. Hi,
it's
you
good.
made it back, Mindy. Cool. Very good. Hey, you have your hair down. You look great.
Thank you. I'm just
Got
kidding.
some curls in it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
right
tried
on.
to. You know what? I took the day off.
Oh,
Good
you're
for
not going to
you.
work today?
No,
Oh, good
no,
for you.
I'm not. I know. I just, honestly, I don't know. I just needed. I knew I wanted to do this. I don't want to keep rushing, and even though a lot of times I rush for this, to be honest with you, it just makes me feel really good afterwards. Like I
Yeah,
just,
good.
and so things just move smoothly. And today I just think I want to do nothing but, maybe food splurge.
Take it
And
easy.
yeah, I know.
Take it easy. Don't don't go too cray cray.
I know, but it's the Mexican in me that just wants to eat all this, like, pupitas and
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
Hmm.
So you're still in Normandy area,
I
Crystalline?
am.
Yay.
Yeah, I
Very
am.
How
good.
beautiful.
Yeah. How's the weather?
Cold. It was
It's
really
still
cold
cold?
today. Yeah. It's winter for sure. Yeah, it's still feeling very wintry. There are flowers coming up. It's been green all year round, but no leaves on the trees, but green grass. But it's good. It's about time though for it to start
Yeah.
getting warmer, to start shifting,
Yeah.
buds and lots of birds building nests and things like that. So can totally
I
feel.
was there 22 years ago in the spring. We got there February 1st until maybe about June.
Okay.
But this year seemed a lot colder than other years to me.
I um I don't know if it's colder. I mean,
Maybe I'm just older. I have
girl.
a,
But wait. When you were here in January,
mm,
it was damned cold.
it was really
But see,
cold.
the thing is, I
Yeah.
don't really know because when I was living here, it was snowy.
Oh, wow.
So, like,
Wow.
I don't know. That's why I'm kind of like, I don't know if it's changed. All I know
But I
is that
didn't
it was damn
mind.
cold.
It felt
Yeah.
good. And, I just got thicker tights and thicker socks. So
Right.
I was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of
But
course, it helps when you're walking really
yes.
fast.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. That makes a big, big difference.
I'm a little bit embarrassed by that,
Yeah.
Denise. Ah, sorry.
It's good. It's good.
Hmm.
Come here, Max.
Oh, are you gonna show Max?
Yeah, I'll get them real quick so you guys can see before everyone
Okay,
gets on.
okay.
Who's Max?
Her puppy, her baby that she
Oh,
that she adopted.
oh, I can't wait to see.
I can't wait to have like my own place so I can get my cats and stuff again.
This is
I
he's
know.
from the shelter.
Wait, let me see.
Aww.
You see him okay?
Oh my
He's
gosh.
from the
Hey,
Carson shelter.
Maxie. Oh my God.
He's
How
sweet.
old is he?
He's so quiet. I got him last Saturday at the Carson shelter.
So you said
So
he's a
sad.
puppy. How old is he?
He's 6. He's just a little guy.
Oh my gosh, Maxie, you like your new mommy?
He's so sweet.
What a
Say
cutie.
hi.
Oh,
He's
he's
So
sweet.
cute.
really sweet.
He
So like he
is. When I
gravitated
saw him
towards
at the
you.
shelter, he's just sitting there looking all.
Look,
I was
he's
like,
just so happy to be in your
I
arms.
know he is. They're fun. They were like, you don't want to take him home and play for a bit? I'm like, no, I want to adopt him. They're like, okay.
Like, I'll take him.
That's what I love about Denise. She's just like, yep,
Yeah,
yep,
he's got
made up
his
my
first
mind. That's it.
vet visit today.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, what a cutie
And I'm happy I got
pie.
him from the shelter because it's a
Yeah.
sad little place.
Yeah, it is.
I
It's
know.
good to go there and take them when you can. You know, what a blessing to have the
Yeah.
time and the space.
And we have the room. Yeah, it's a 3-bedroom, and we have a nice big backyard, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
Can you
and we
take
Good.
go
my
on
room
little
for when I come
walks.
visit?
You know, and
That's really sweet.
Cute.
Oh, I love dogs so
yeah,
much.
he's a
Oh
sweet,
my
sweet dog.
God.
Did you get trouble? Did you get in trouble for not getting a pug?
No, no, I'm not in the pug club. I'm in the Save the Dog club, right, Maxie?
Right?
Right?
I'd
Yeah,
rather save a dog than have a fancy dog. Yeah, one
yes.
of my friends volunteers at the shelter. So when I told her I was interested, she was bombarding me with like pictures of all these dogs. I'm like, I'm just gonna go down there. I'm just gonna go see. So
That's the way to do it, right?
yeah, yeah.
So, what did your mom say about you when you said you were going to go get Maxie? Or
Sh Nobody knew because I was just going to look at dogs, you know, and I just came home with one. But everyone seems to like him. You go play on the bed if you want.
You're like, go play on the
His
bed.
bed is by my feet. I have a little doggy bed,
Oh, that is
but
so
he's funny. He likes to
nice.
sleep in the chairs instead.
does he
But
still have the poopy pillow?
yes, yeah, the poopy emoji.
What?
Oh,
I
you know
love it.
the poopy emoji? Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Yeah, I bought a pillow for him like that.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So
That is
he
really
likes it.
funny.
He loves it. Hi there.
Okay, and I am still setting up.
Okay.
Here, I need another minute.
I'm going to mute myself so I don't get all crazy with everybody.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you know what I mean.
You're not too loud at Starbucks for people listening?
No, I got my earsets on.
Oh, nice. Okay, I thought you had it.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't even tell.
Well, you know me, Denise. I always have to be on the stage. I'm just kidding.
I was like, people might be trying to have quiet time there.
Right, I know. I'm like, oh no, I want everybody to be involved in the group.
Yeah. Get everyone's input.
Okay, everybody, cheers.
Morning. Okay. I will mute also.
Uh-oh. Is anybody there? Can you guys hear me? Why can't I hear you? Okay, okay.
Oh, everybody muted.
Everybody's
Yeah.
muted.
Everybody's muted.
We're all still here. We just muted.
Mariam!
Everybody left.
Hi, Mariam. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. I was online by myself for like 10 minutes and then I was like, wait a minute, there's something wrong. So I just ended the call and then rejoined and then I'm like,
That's
oh,
what I
okay,
did too.
everyone's here.
Because
Oh, did that happen to
I
you?
posted a link and then I freaked out because it wasn't recording, so I deleted it and then reposted. So I think you guys
Okay.
got the first link.
I did too because I was by myself also, and I was like, "This is strange.
I'm sorry.
This is a strange class today."
Oh my God. Well, I think we can go ahead and get started. Unfortunately, I literally just got a message from Frida saying that she had a tragedy in her family. So
No.
I know, I feel bad. So she's got to deal with that. So
Okay.
she's not going to be on the call today.
Oh. Good morning.
Is that Yvonne? Hi, Yvonne. So we are recording, so they will be able to join in or catch it later. What I want to do is, and definitely, Mindy, I think I'm going to ask you to mute your mic because it's just a lot of background noise.
Oh, I thought it wasn't mine.
Thank you, lovely. Appreciate it. Okay, so, right. So you all seem to have gotten my message over the over the week about slowing down the reading process. So I want to just kind of start our dialogue just talking about that. And I want to see where everyone is and at what rate you are honestly able to proceed. So can I get a little feedback from each of you about where you are? Maybe starting with Denise, just because Denise, you're the first one. Always, It's always the same order. Doesn't matter what sign, what way you come online. It's always Denise, and then Miriam, and then there's Mindy, and then there's always Yvonne afterward. I don't know how Google knows. It's just, it's how it flows. But I would like to know from you, I guess let's do this for our check-in, to just kind of give us a little feedback about where you are in the reading and at what pace you're finding yourself able to read and absorb the information.
Absorbing is a good part.
Right? That's the important part. So let us know how you're doing, Denise.
Okay. Well, I did, I guess this is, I did the last section, got to the last section, the meaning of the last judgment, but I don't think I absorbed very much.
Okay.
So,
okay.
I need to go slower.
Okay, so slowing down would be good for you.
A matter of reading it, fine, but taking it, understanding what I'm reading, kind of talking about it is where because after we do this and we talk about it, and which takes a lot longer than actually reading it, then I get an understanding.
It does. It's true, right?
Yeah. But this is what is needed, I think, to understand what we're reading and to take it in, is to kind of other people's views, other people's points.
Yeah.
So like when you said to split up in 3, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Because the 1 week before last, when we did half, I felt like it was a little bit of a rush.
Yeah.
That was the last one. I felt like I was even kind of rushing to, oh God, the time, I gotta hurry up.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
I like it. I like that idea.
Good. Thank you, Denise. Yeah, what I found, I sat down with a timer and I said, okay, I'm going to go through this whole section. I'm going to do this whole section. I'm sure getting through this section with a fine-tooth comb would only take me 30 minutes. It took me 30 minutes just to get through 3 paragraphs. And, you know, I have to admit, I'm probably overly focused. I'm probably way obsessive compulsive. And I'm not saying that that's a good thing. I'm a slow reader. The fact is, I've always been a slow reader. I'm a slow comprehender. I don't stay focused for that long. I can't stay focused on the work for more than, I can't even be in the work for 15 minutes without needing to get up, take a stretch break, and then come back. Even though the break is really short, it can be a minute, but it takes me about 10 minutes per paragraph in order to really understand what in the world they're talking about. That's where I am. All right, so let's go into Miriam. How about you, darling?
Hello.
Where are you?
Hi. So I'm in chapter 2, section 1, 2, 3. I was kind of half or 2 weeks ago, I was kind of reading to read, and then I realized that I wasn't absorbing anything at all. And when I was trying to absorb the reading, I realized that when I sort of like force myself to absorb, it just doesn't work. It doesn't happen. And so I kind of have to let everything I read unfold like at its own pace. And for some parts, it takes a long time, and some parts, I think it's because some concepts I'm pretty familiar with. So those concepts don't really take that long. But for the most part, I really have to just let it unfold at its own pace if I want to really absorb it.
Yeah, okay, that makes really good sense. So it sounds like slowing down for you will be really good as well.
Because I feel like I was kind of like trying to catch up, and then I was thinking to myself, why am I treating this like a race? Like at one point I really was treating it like a race. And then I realized if if this is for my own good, then I really shouldn't treat it like a race.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Very good. All right. Thank you for the feedback.
You're welcome.
Miss Mindy.
Hi, everybody. You know, I really, I don't know. I kind of thought that maybe I should be worried about like how fast and how slow I'm going at first when it was brought to the attention. But since I've kind of known like and been introduced to the book for so long, I don't really consider it as a race. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on is that it's not my main concern to observe for the sake of the group. It's for my individual self, just as I think that it should be for everyone's individual self. And just because I'm not on the same chapter as anyone else, I jump from chapter to chapter. That's just me. That's the way I learn. That's the way I can observe it. And whatever kind, sometimes I use it in the morning when I wake up and I just put my finger on a page and there's my message for the day. That's just how I observe things and I love it. When it comes to the lessons, I happen to be a little bit further along because those are just the lessons. It's not chapters that I'm reading. It's not, it's not a matter of being further than anyone else or a matter of being behind anyone else. I truly enjoy everything about it and just the whole meaning of it, that it's not, I never even really thought of this as a timeline, a date, a this, that. I just figured, I put myself down for this chapter and we'll discuss it. And that's just, I think that's the way it should be. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, it's not a race and I don't really feel that I'm going to turn it into something like that for the sake of the group. It's, it's something that so I'm not in any hurry. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter to me. And if I want to read over the, chapters, I'll read over them. Or sometimes somebody will talk about, because will listen to like Gabrielle Bernstein talk about things in some of her little videos that she makes. And of course, in Miracle Says, and I'll flip around to the chapters and be like, oh, that's what she's talking about. The same thing with, Crystal. She'll talk about something and I'll be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Or, so it's just, it's not in any specific order to me. And that's
Good. Good. So I appreciate that, Mindy. It's good to have it's good to have insight from someone who is confident to be intuitive with the work and to let their spirit guide them through the work, right? That's what I think I hear you saying. Cool. Excellent. Thank you. I think that's really important feedback and good for all of us to remember. And we're going to go ahead to Yvonne, and we're just checking in with where we are and how you feel about us kind of slowing down the process a little bit. And Yvonne, I have you muted there. Can you unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself? There we go.
Yeah, here I am. I am good. I've been kind of going however I go. I've been listening to it. I think I wrote a little comment in there. So I'm fine with going any way we go because I'll probably just keep doing what I'm doing. Like, yeah, I'm behind, very behind on the lessons because I do a lesson and then I just think about it for like 3 days a week. I'm really on like lesson 7, I think, because every time I think I want to go to the next one, I think, wait a minute, I really don't think I digested lesson 5, so I go back 2 steps.
Yeah.
And because as I read and even listen to the reading, because I have the Audible. It's funny because I'll read it and then I'll listen to the Audible and then I'll hear him say what I remember reading, and it's like one sentence, and that's what I'm ingesting. That's what I'm like kind of folding into what I already know. And so I imagine this is just like any book that you have that you go to every now and then, like my videos of Maya Angelou. I just go back to little videos of little things she says over and over in my life. I think this is the same way. So, you know, I'm ingesting what I get, and then, but the lessons to me are the most important because that's going to help me really change the way I think. And that's what I'm working on more than anything, is just trying to change the way I think. And so that's why I'm going really slow with the lessons. I don't want to go too far ahead because each one is a layer where you're deepening your, or actually tearing away your understanding of everything. And it's kind of like you're letting go of your understanding of everything. So I don't want to miss out on anything there. So I'm taking it slow with the lessons.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much, Yvonne. I feel like, you know, when you're doing presentations on the chapter, it seems to me like you understand what you're reading, you know, and I always say, and actually, you know, I don't know if you all knew this, but I was a Scientologist. I was in my family, we did Scientology as a family. So I wasn't born into it, but I spent a couple of years as a Scientologist. And believe it or not, as whacked out as that group is, there are also some very good points. And one of the things that I learned very early on was that if you don't understand something, then you cannot talk coherently about it. They would know when you understood a concept deeply by how effectively you could communicate about it. And I don't, you know, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true, but I know for myself, it certainly is true. When I don't have a grasp of something, I cannot talk about it in depth. I can't think of questions to ask. I can't give you examples. So when I read something, one of the reasons why you know, I have a chapter summary, like, and I give you all a chapter summary after every presentation, is because I never could understand. I couldn't read until I went into Scientology. After I went into Scientology, they turned on this switch in my brain that said, you don't have reading comprehension because you don't understand most of the words. You know, you're using the words improperly. You don't have a deep understanding. So what has happened is that I've become very detail oriented about what I'm reading. And when I read, I chew. So I'll read a sentence and then I have to have an example of it. I have to look at it from the past and I have to look at it from the future. Now, I don't do that with every book. I do that only with books that matter. And A Course in Miracles does matter to me. So the reason I'm mentioning this, Yvonne, is because when you do your chapter presentations, I hear that you've chewed on the work. Do you know what I mean? Like, it feels to me like you haven't just read the words and you haven't just listened to it through audio. I think you've actually thought about it. And the reason why I was a little bit nervous about moving forward, because Frida does this as well. And Yvonne, are you a school teacher? Right? And I think there's something that school teachers might have. You all might have really good inherent reading comprehension skills, or you know how to take some bit of information and bring light to it. I don't know. All I'm saying is that when you and Frida talk about this work, I'm like, okay, you're making me really, really think about these things. And I think it's because you've gone in and really chewed up this stuff. That's what it feels like to me. And that's where I have to go in order to be able to present this work, right? In order to be able to talk about it, I feel like I have to chew on it and not just hear it and not just read it. And that's where my problem is. And that's why I have to slow down. Otherwise I can't, I just don't get it. That's it. That's all.
Yeah, it takes time, because like I have to like write little things down that I hear,
Yes.
because this is on a calendar, because I was, somewhere I didn't have it, and all I have is my calendars. I mean, I'm transferring it to my notebook now,
Yeah.
but I was like, I have to write this down. I can't remember it unless I
Yes.
highlight it, but I can't remember what I highlighted. I have to actually write it down, and all I had was a calendar. So now I'm transferring it over, because I don't want to keep this calendar with, but I actually have to sit there and write down what I want to take in, because that's how I
thank
remember.
you. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about, Denise. It's like I can't just get it on its own. And again, it's this idea of really, having really thought about it, because it's not insignificant. We're not taking this course just so that we can say that we've taken this course. I think we're taking this course because we're looking for a connection within that goes just beyond our feeling nature. We want our intellect involved. We're not just going to a healer and saying, heal me, we're trying to have a life vision that represents, this feeling of love that we want to experience in our lives. And
Excuse me, Crystalline. Can I just say too, I think that's very true what you're saying about why we're doing it. And also for me, it's about community, because I find it really important at this time to, and I think this is why you want to come home, but I'm not sure. I find it really important at this time to just not take a temperature like I'm a doctor, but I want to know where everyone is, where are we? And honestly, too, I think we learn more in relationships. So even with these spiritual people, everybody is, we're all on a path, but with the people in this group, even within us, there's going to be struggles to see each other. You know what I mean? Like really, like whenever there's a tug on us of annoyance because, oh God, this is taking too long, or, oh, we're going to hear, now I'm really revealing quite a bit. We're going to hear this story or that story. Even when there's that tug, that to me helps me develop these skills that we're learning. We're not learning these things to be in isolation. We're learning these things to walk in the world that right now is very challenging. And if we don't practice these things with like-minded people that we can actually know that our intent is to find community with each other, I hope. Otherwise we'll leave, that's okay too. I mean, we're all in different places. So for me, that's why that's a big part of it. And to develop the kind of skills that we're learning in a group like this.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Yvonne. And that's the beauty of having this group, like what a blessing to have everyone on. Everyone is bringing so much light and opportunity, for us to connect and to learn about one another and to learn about ourselves and bringing in different perspective. It's really, really, really good. I feel, incredibly blessed by this group,
I just wanted to say something too, really quick. I feel incredibly blessed too. I'm being surrounded by a lot of teachers, because I do have a lot of friends that are teachers. I've learned that in these type of groups too, like, I mean, and I don't really, to me, this is more of like a tool. It's more of like a way of living. And so you're not going to get everything down at once. You
Totally.
you apply it. You apply it. And I'm an observer, so I stick quiet a lot and I listen a lot. And I'm also, I'm very patient. I used to be very impatient. Certain things I can still be impatient with, like boiling water. But when it comes to something like this, I just
hurry up.
I'm a very patient person, so I could sit there and I could listen, and just because I may not be taking part as someone else is speaking doesn't mean that I'm not observing it. But here's the thing that I've also realized in these types of groups, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's definitely a miracle and a great saving grace sometimes, is that like by sitting back and observing and just being still and listening. I mean, this is our time, our 2 hours out of the day to just sit back and listen. And you know what? If it's something that I'm not interested in, and if I find that it's something that's bothering me, and why isn't that person hurrying up? I got to check myself and think,
Oh my
wait,
God.
there's a message in there, you know?
Yep, we do.
And
That's community. Yep.
yeah, and so there may be some personalities that I might feel I can, because I'm a very in tune person. So I mean, like I can, there's a lot of personalities that I feel sometimes that like automatically I'll think, oh, I don't think I'm going to vibe with that person. But then that's when my patience needs to kick in and think, why? There's something in there that's mirroring on me that, you know, like if I judge someone for something, I got to ask myself why. And when it comes down to it, it's all about being fearful. And it's because when I'm judging someone saying, if they're doing this, this is going to happen to them, and I don't like that. Well, those are my own fears. And that person that's out there doing whatever it is that they're doing, maybe they're not afraid. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of different ways to look at it and dissect it and tear it apart. But like I said, when it comes to, I could see the part, like, I guess what I'm jumping to is when I could see the part, like, for teachers, where it's like, you got to be on a certain page at this time, and no, we're not all together, and everybody's got to be together. I could see that, but then I could also see as a student, we'll take it in. You know, this is patience, this is a learning experience. We'll figure it out. You know, I mean,
Yeah, Mindy, I'll take that as a I learned a lot just from what you said, you know, because I do, you know, you guys know I love to kind of natter on, and I love ideas, and so I do get a little long-winded, and that's part of my style. That's why y'all love me. I think that's why you love me. Part of why you love me. There's probably some wisdom in what I'm delivering. There's probably some insight you can gain from when I'm nattering on. But yeah, check yourself. If you think I'm nattering on too long, check yourself. But with that being said, though, going back into more seriousness, we are a community here, and to me, it feels like a great community. But of course, I know everybody here. You know, I know everyone. Mindy, you're the only person I didn't know beforehand, and I feel really, really blessed that Denise introduced you to our group and to what we're doing. You know, but it feels really good. I feel my personality says I'm happy. Yes, but the dogmatic part of me, okay, you all, those of you who have known me for a long time, you know, like Yvonne and Denise, you guys have known me a long time. My way, like when I had my studio, was to be very much about, you know, having things run in a certain way, just what Mindy was describing a moment ago. And for me, that's not the teacher that's in me. It's more of the boss, the leader, and someone who has to have things, you know, kind of just so. Part of running a business means that you have to have consistency, and things have to go the same way every day as far as the foundational structure is concerned. But this is not a business, and this is not a teaching environment. So I don't have to have those principles. I have the moon in Virgo in my astrology chart, so I don't have to be so darn organized all the time. So I get to let go, and we can slow down a little bit, and everybody's going to be okay. That's the message that I'm getting from our session today. So I wanted to just check in, because even though she's all blacked out, I know she's there. It's Miss Andrea. Andrea, do you know, I saw you sign on, and
Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you, but we can't see you.
Yes.
She's like, yes, I know.
Yeah, I know. I was getting ready while we were talking so that I could be
Yeah.
present when we're
Yes.
actually getting everything. Not that I'm not present now, but fully present.
So we're just
I'm
doing a
fine.
little check-in to see where we are as far as the work is concerned. And, I posted on the Facebook page that we're going to slow down the process a little bit. And I just kind of wanted to check in with you and to see if that's okay.
It's absolutely fine with me. Either way, it doesn't. I'm completely perfect with whatever way we decide to do it.
Okay. And how are you doing with the reading? How are you absorbing the material? Do you feel like the pace is allowing you to absorb? Is it too slow for you? Do you feel like you feel like an urge to move more ahead? What do you think? Or what do you
Actually,
feel?
because you're saying that we're going to slow down, it's actually making me want to go back and do what you do with the every chapter, to reread it and do the notes with it. So I
Uh-huh.
actually really like it, so that I can go back and, I mean, I've gone back and read again, but maybe because I felt I didn't have time to go back and write about it,
Yeah.
it's giving me the opportunity now to go back and to write down and really digest it.
Yeah. Cool. Good. One of the things I remember, Andrea, just really from when I did this before, I remembered that there was a little bit of a repetition that starts to happen. And I'm just saying that just in case you don't feel like you want to go back and reread, or, if that'll take more time and you want to just keep
Okay.
moving forward. I remember that there's a level of repetition that comes in the material, that it stops being brand new and then it becomes more chewing, like
Okay.
more chewing. Just a little thing to throw out there. Like there's not anything that has been said that won't be repeated again, that you won't get even more deeply.
Okay.
Okay,
I
cool.
appreciate that.
All right,
Thank you.
excellent. Good. So shall we go into the next phase, my friends? Or is there anything anybody wants to say before we move on to the next thing? Okay, cool. So let us, where am I? We're going to do, can we look at the principles of miracles? Uh-oh. That's where I went wrong. Okay, now, I know that I said I was going to post the things and let everybody sign up for them, but it stressed me out a little bit, and I don't like doing it that way. I like being in control. I'm going to admit I like being in control of this thing. And the thing is that there's a section that there's nobody presenting for, and I think it's okay because, it is okay. But what I would like to say is that it's probably better if we assign the presentations during the call. And if you know that you're not going to be on a call and you want to present for the next week, will you just send me a note on Facebook for the week, and I will before the call. So like if you know you're not going to be on the call next week and you want to do a presentation for the following Saturday, just drop me a line at any point over the week when you know you're not going to be there, and then I will assign you to a section. All right, that way I don't have any holes, and we all kind of know what's going to be done. It just feels better for me to be able to run things like that.
I agree.
Okay, awesome. It's section 6, we don't have anybody presenting for. So I will just read my notes out on that, and that's okay. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But still, though, my little mind, I got to give my mind some of the things it needs. All right. So also, the thing is, ladies, this is supposed to be an hour and a half. It's not supposed to be 2 hours. So, and I like that we are able to have our discussions like this and to have discussion, which I think it's also great to slow it down so that we don't have to have so we don't have to rush discussions, and we also don't have to go on for 2.5 hours, which is what we've done. We've done the last couple of times. It's been like 2.5 hours, and that's a little bit long, I think. So there you go. All right, so for today, we have principles of miracles. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with the principles of miracles. We have number 5 being presented by Yvonne, and principle of miracles number 6 being presented by Miriam. So can we let Yvonne take over right now?
Okay. Number 5, principles of miracles. Number 5, miracles are habits and should be involuntary.
I'm sorry. Was I not doing number 5?
I signed up for number 5.
Oh,
No.
okay. Okay.
I'm
All right.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the Facebook group, and this is I see Yvonne there. I don't see Mindy there. Mindy, I see you down for chapter 2. No, oh, Mindy, you're chapter 2, section 5 is what you are, not principles of miracles 5.
Got it. Okay. Can you guys hear me, or am I still on mute?
Now I can
We
hear
can
you.
Okay. I was walking around. Okay. Thanks. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right, Yvonne.
Okay, so miracles are habits and should be involuntary. They should not be under conscious control. Consciously selected miracles can be misguided. And now what I think is happening with miracles are habits. Now, what I've been hearing and during the reading, what I'm realizing is that all of this needs to be more of a habit, especially with myself. I'm learning all of this stuff, but I'm not developing the habits essential for it to really take over my thoughts, which is what I want, to get the peace that I'm seeking peace. And so like I think the habit is basically to be in communion at all times with the present and with the universe, with God. And so the miracles will happen when those habits are developing, and even when they don't. But I think it's really saying that meditation and all of that and reading and being in communion is part of the habit and part of those miracles happening, that they'll be involuntary. They should not be under conscious control. I know whenever I've had those miracles, when time really collapses for me, it's not because I'm sitting down thinking, okay, I'm going to be present and wait for a miracle. It's just something that comes over. And I think that's what that's saying, that it's not like you're going to sit down and wait for a miracle, or that you're guiding a miracle, meaning like when I'm still having confusion with the manifestation process. If we are supposed to let go of control and know that God already has a plan, that whenever there's a problem, he already has a solution. When I think about the whole manifesting process, there's some understanding for me that needs to take place there, because when it says consciously selected miracles can be misguided, that's where I'm not so much struggling, but I am trying to, there's like a little click that I need to click in so that my understanding is complete between the manifestation process and what occurs naturally because it's God's plan. So, so that's what I'm learning, and I think that's okay. But I do believe that in order for the miracles to completely take over, I need to develop better habits, because the misguided part is something that I'll be working on.
Yvonne,
Any thoughts about that?
Can I ask you a question about,
Sure.
Okay, this idea of manifestation, never requires a miracle. And I feel like maybe you're mixing those up. And look, I could be wrong, okay? I could be totally wrong about this, but it feels to me that you never need a miracle for manifestation. You don't need, because a manifestation is an effect. And you need the miracles to work within for the cause, which starts with you. So you'll manifest whatever it is you manifest based on whether or not you're going to accept at-one-ment or not. Does that make sense?
Yes. And what I'm doing in my mind right now is trying to find the areas, because I don't think as a whole I do that with the miracles and the manifestation, but there are areas where I think you're correct that I'm confusing the two. I think what I'm also confusing is that when we the allowance to happen, and then the trying to call forward what's meant for us, I think there's some confusion there for me, but it's something I'll work on, because I think you're right that there's an area where there's confusion for me, that miracles do occur naturally, and that it has nothing to do with manifestation, and that might be where there's some confusion for me.
Well,
So
and I
thanks for
wonder
picking that up, because
also,
I'll be thinking about it.
yeah, I'm wondering also, like, isn't a miracle like, okay, so, and this is going back to number 5, and I think that you're giving real life examples of this. And what I'm seeing is that a miracle is a mindset. It's a choosing a unified consciousness, which is a consciousness of love, which is the Christ consciousness, over a consciousness of separation, which is egoic self. It's being in the Garden of Eden and being Adam and Eve, and God saying, look, you can have everything you want. You're perfectly happy here, but don't eat of the tree of knowledge. And that tree of knowledge is the separation. That first bite of the apple is saying, well, I want to think about who I am as opposed to simply being who I am, right? So Adam and Eve would just kind of be in the garden, enjoying life, creating as God extended, and they're extending and they're having their experience with one another, and there's innocence. That's the miracle mindedness, although it wasn't called miracle mindedness because there was no separation, so there was no need for a miracle. Right. But there was at-one-ment, right? There was, even though they didn't need atonement, they were at one with unity, with the consciousness, right? And I think that for us right now, as we're exploring this 5th principle, is that miracles are involuntary or they should be involuntary, because it's just a natural way of seeing the world, which is what we're learning through the lessons. You don't have to think about a miracle. You don't have to say to a person, I need a miracle, or he needs a miracle, which is why you can't really consciously select when and when not to. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. And I think when I read, because I've been, maybe because, I think we project our own needs and our own meaning to things. And I think when I read, like, miracles are habits, in my mind, it was almost a call for me making the whole thing a habit, which I have not been doing. I've been turning away from the meditation practice, and I do it, but I don't do it the way I've done it in the past. And when you really are in practice with all of this, it's almost like, you really feel the miracles constantly, and there's no guiding anything. There's just you're in the present, and there's more at one mint,
Yeah.
constant and more noticing of the beauty and love in other people, and you're really serving other people. You show up for other people. So I think that's what, right when I read, miracles are habits, I'm like thinking to myself, you got to make it this more of a habit,
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
I think I personalized it more to, I don't want to say like condemn me or to punish me, but yeah, I'm thinking more just in order to experience, like really experience the miracles that are there, I need to be more habitual about my practice. That's it.
Very
So
good.
sorry, but
Excellent.
thank you all for being here for that. But
Wait, I think Denise is going to chime in. Yeah?
I wrote this down. I think this came from the chapter I presented 2 weeks ago. And it said, the means on which you can depend on miracles has been provided for you. What do you think? I mean, that kind of rings to what Yvonne's saying, but do you think that they're giving us the means and what we kind of like I say before, they're giving us the material and how we use it, or
I'm sorry, I'm going to chime in real quick. I think that the miracle is what feels good in your heart. And I think that sometimes we're all creating miracles without even realizing it. So that's where you can that's where in my situation, I stray away from the structuredness of, that's how I'm a feeler. So I feel the miracle. Therefore, I know I'm creating the miracle. So whether I use my words the wrong way doesn't mean I don't understand it. But when I feel it, I am completely understanding it. And I think, maybe that's what Yvonne's trying to say, kind of.
I wrote down a note that said that said that we need to find what makes us happy, and that's the path that leads to destiny.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote it down by that quote.
Yeah.
But I wrote little notes trying to figure it out.
Wait, I want you to repeat that, what the original quote that you wrote from the book, Denise.
It's the means on which you can depend on miracles has been provided for you.
Yeah, and so what I'm getting from that is this idea of, and this is where I feel like you all might be getting a little bit confused by our usual term for the word miracle and what's meant by A Course in Miracles here.
Okay.
A Course in Miracles is not really about the miracle of manifestation. A Course in Miracles is purely about alignment with the Christ consciousness, which is accepting that there is no separation. So when you look around the world and you see miracles, you're not understanding what's meant by miracles in terms of A Course in Miracles. You don't use the outside world to understand the miracle. The miracle happens at the cause, not at the effect. So we used the example last week. I think someone might have said, I think Yvonne said, I ended up receiving a bunch of money. And there was a little talk around it, and it was like, oh yeah, that was the miracle. Well, the point was that no, the miracle happened when you aligned ages ago. And you had an alignment with source energy. You were at one with source energy. And later the money came, but the money is not the miracle. The alignment is the miracle. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what does that help? Because the resources are not the issue. And I think that's important to understand, Denise, and why I wanted you to read that again. I know I keep talking on. I keep asking you, do you get it? I keep talking.
I write down the ones that I need clarification, the ones I think I understand. So it helps. No, it's good.
But the point is that you do have all the resources you need for all the miracles you need. And the only resource you need is that love, which is always there all around you. And you need to be able to say yes. You need to be able to affirm with your alignment with source energy. If you're doing that, then you're already in the miracle. And that's the habit we have to form on an involuntary basis, where it's just compulsory, like I'm at one with God. You know, like, oh, there's a spider on my desk. I'm at one with God. That's a miracle. Like, do I need the spider to leave? I might want the spider to leave. And if the spider walks away, it's not that the spider walked away, that it was the miracle. We can't say, oh, that was a miracle. It's that I aligned with God and said, God, I see this spider as an extension of myself. I'm going to come over here. Or, God, I see the spider as myself. I'm going to kill it. You know, whatever it is.
I'd like to share something too with the group, because you know, when I first got this book, when I first received it, it was crazy that the first page that I opened up to was 473, and I always have a bookmark in it. And I'd like to share with you guys what you just explained right now, Crystal. It was on section 4 of 473, and it's, you know, it's number 13, what is a miracle? And one of my favorite parts that I love to read about all this, and I just want to read it really quickly, it's not very long, but it's page 473, and it's 13, what is a miracle? But it's out the way at the very bottom, it's number 5, and it says, miracles fall like drops of healing rain from heaven on a dry and dusty world where starved and thirsty creatures come to die. Now they have water, now the world is green, and everywhere the signs of life spring up to show that what is born can never die, for what has life has immortality. Isn't it? I mean, to me, it hits such a spot in my heart, and it's so beautiful. And every time I'm starting to feel like I want to give up on things, I always love to read this part, because sometimes I lose my way, and sometimes I ask myself, what is a miracle again? Because I used to believe that miracles were things that just saved my life, a saving grace.
Right.
You know, and it's just for any one of you guys out there too. I don't know if you've already, you know, streamed across this or not, but see, I start to dissect things, and then I get crazy inside my head, like, oh my God, like, what does this mean? What does that mean? So when I take a deep breath, like I'm meditating, just in and out, and stay present with what's going on right now, then it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, because my miracle may not be your miracle. My miracle may not be that other person's miracle. I may share miracles with others. And some days my miracle may not even be what yesterday's miracle was. To me, it always means something different. And whatever is like in my heart, and whatever, I mean, those are my raindrops for the day.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Very good. Thank you. Yvonne, I want to turn this back over to you. And see if there's anything, of course, that you want to add. It's your show, huh?
I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate all the input there. Thank you, Denise, too, for that reading, because it made me kind of think about that there's grace, you know, that we do have everything. We're already good. We just have to kind of acknowledge that. And I did type in a comment before I lose my thought. I put it in. We don't create miracles, do we? That's manifestation. So I see now the difference. Not that, like I said, I think as a whole I understood, but I think there are times in my thinking that I'm misguided. So I see the difference there when I use that. I think it'll help me a lot. So thank you. Thank you, everyone, for that in-depth discussion. These principles are very small, you know, they're like 3 sentences, and sometimes only 1, but they're huge. Yeah, thanks.
I think I was muted. Sorry.
Yeah. I saw your mouth moving, but nothing was coming out. Yeah, talking, but I can't hear you.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, God did that. Jesus did that. I'm not in control.
God muted you.
God muted me. He's like, shut up. So yes, we can go on to our next principle, and that's going to be presented by Miriam. Hello, Miriam.
Hi.
From Bahrain.
What's up?
What's up?
Okay, so mine was miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. And immediately, the first thing this kind of did for me, and I noticed, was shift my lack mentality into abundance. Um, because I think as soon as I read miracles are natural, I don't know, it just automatically shifted me into abundance mentality. And I think it also reminded me of what we were talking about earlier, how miracles are, it's more about being in a state of allowing and receiving instead of, you know, that go-getter mentality, which I always had in terms of miracles. When I thought of miracles was I have to go somewhere. I have to get somewhere, when it's about being where I am and sort of releasing whatever obstructions I have or I've created for myself in the moment. And I think when I read this, miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. It also makes me feel included. Because miracles are something natural, what's natural is, you know, natural for everyone. And this made me feel really liberated, because when I was a kid, I grew up thinking, you know, miracles were exclusive to those that prayed harder, prayed more, did this more, did that more. And so this was a really big game changer for me, because it's really uprooting some really sort of like cemented belief systems about miracles and who deserves what and what do I deserve and worth and things like that. So yeah, it also helps me realize that I don't, or we don't need sort of like a middleman. Like you don't need, which is what I always thought. Like I always thought, you know, the guy at the mosque knew more, the priest knows more, that person knows more, the Dalai Lama knows more. And that really, that was very disempowering. And I didn't realize until very recently how I was totally giving my power away and not recognizing and embracing myself. And so yeah, a lot of my old beliefs came up when I read this. And yeah, it just overall, miracles are natural. We are all worthy of them, and it's about allowing and yeah, that's kind of what I think. That's what I wrote down.
Very good. Yeah, I like how you are taking this idea of it being natural and finding the unifying thought behind it. Does that make sense, Miriam? Is that what you're saying? Like, because it's natural, it means it's equal. Because
Totally.
it's natural, it's for all of us.
Totally.
Yeah, and that there's power in that. Excellent. Does anybody else have anything they want to throw in there with that? Does anybody want to add anything? Yeah, I think that's a really, I think that was a really good, good way of looking at this particular principle. I think that being who I am, I looked at this principle a little bit in the negative, because of course I went for, when they do not occur, something has gone wrong. I went for, well, what went wrong? What didn't work? What's not happening for this miracle to occur? And for me, that idea of miracles being natural means that that's also something for that other part of me that I'm not very tuned into this year. That's that part of me that is very much the inner presence, that is very aligned with source energy, that is very knowing, very intuitive. And I feel like I'm personally being quite unnatural, which is hard. But if anybody else has any input on there, please hop on. And
Yeah, there's some, after Marianne said, what she said, there was something that it brought to my attention too, is at the very beginning of the book, when we all look at the introduction, and it kind of relates to it, because I've been told, and I think I read it somewhere in this book, that the book is constantly going to always say the same thing. You could either read one sentence or you don't have to read anything. If you read one sentence, you're going to get the same thing as reading the whole book. And what this part says in the introduction makes a lot of sense as to what she was saying, and it kind of reminds me of it, is the Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. Doesn't it kind of like not make sense in a very sensible way?
yes, to me, it seems to answer exactly what you said it answers. It answers that miracles are natural. And
Right.
when it's not happening, something has gone wrong. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
But I loved how she touched, I loved her story on how she touched that, like it taking our power away. And it kind of touched bases to me when it, even says, what is it? It does aim, however, to removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence. I mean, it's kind of like what she was saying. It kind of touched bases on removing those. How she removed that the priest would know more than her. How she removed that person's probably more educated in something like this than her. But we're all born equal. Just because we don't speak the same language doesn't mean that we're not all grasping that same miracle.
Yeah. Medium. Yep. Medium.
Yeah.
You wanna add?
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. And I wanted to add as well, when I read, when they do not occur, something has gone wrong. At first I was like, shit. Because when I hear something has gone wrong, immediately that I interpret that as I am wrong. Just because of, I heard it a lot growing up. I am wrong. I just being totally invalidated as a human being. So I hear this a lot. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, not just you're wrong about this point, like your existence is wrong. But I feel like when I read this, it was the first, after that initial, like, you're wrong, it was the way it was phrased, or maybe because of what was written before it, it felt like whatever was wrong wasn't really wrong. It's just a matter of tweaking, a matter of realigning, a matter of shifting. It wasn't necessarily, your existence is wrong. And when I read that, that's started realizing as I was kind of letting it settle in, is it's a matter of alignment, reshifting, recalibrating. It's not an inherent wrongness or, anything like that.
Yeah. I like that a lot, actually. It makes me think about a ship. It makes me think about an airplane flying. And here it is flying in its path. Boom, it's good. And then something goes wrong. Oop, it's starting to descend. It's like you can recover, though, right? The airplane's not wrong. You just got to get right. Then you get back on your flight path. You take off again, Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah. And, I'm listening to that 10 Bridges to Transformation, and it's the Marianne Williamson about A Course in Miracles. And there's something she says over and over again, and I wish I could remember it, but it's exactly that thought that Mariam said about whenever there's an error, the correction is recognized immediately. Like there's like, you're constantly back in grace. You know, once the whole atone part, because she talks about that a lot, and that's going to be one of the next principles for next week. But that to me, it's very significant to realize that, you know, there's errors in thinking, there's whatever, but immediately that correction is made, and it's recognized, and everything's fine.
Medium, you want to speak to that?
Yeah, no, I like the way you talk about it, Yvonne, in terms of, you know, again, like mending, or just sort of like, it's just what you said kind of like reinforces the fact that it's not, I think what you said sort of is the way I'm trying to redefine wrong as of now, as of reading all of this. And I think this book and these lessons are really helping me to redefine wrong in the way you just described it. It's not because of the connotations I associated with the word wrong. I'm sort of like relearning what it means in the way that you.
I'm typing because I don't want to lose a thought, but I like, you know, that you're saying it and you're like trying to like fix the sentence or really get the right words. But what I was thinking is, we are not our thoughts. And that's where we think we're wrong, because we identify with our thoughts. We think that's who we are, but it's not who we are. So it's the error is in the thoughts. And the correction is when we realize we aren't them. We aren't those thoughts.
Wow.
And so immediately when you recognize yourself, your soul, it's gone. There's no wrong. There never was. It's the thought, it's ego, whatever. So yeah, we're not our thoughts. That's not who we are.
That's really powerful. That's really powerful. And I agree with you.
Excellent. Good. Yeah, a very, very good discussions coming about the principles. So I want to thank you all. Does anybody want to add anything before we move on?
I wrote a note right here, and I put that I need to, that you can change your thoughts about the past. And I think that can kind of, you can look how you look back on things. You can look back on it in a positive way. That's where I meant to be. I didn't pass that test, so I couldn't get the promotion right away. It's, well, I needed to be somewhere else. That's in my situation. So, but I think sometimes we just need to change our thoughts.
Yeah.
I didn't need that promotion. I needed to be making a little less money, but helping those kids, you know. But just like the way you look back on things.
Yeah, excellent. Very good. Thank you. All right. So, okay, so I guess we can go on to the next thing. So look, it's already, we've been on the call for already over an hour, and technically we have 25 minutes left. So what I want to do is, how many people have finished chapter 2 completely? Chime on and say if you have finished chapter 2 completely.
Finished reading, but not really jotting down my notes and fully comprehending it yet.
Okay, very good. Got a no over there from Andrea.
Same here.
Mindy is a no.
No, I mean, yes, no, yes.
Okay, wait, Mindy. Mindy, look, girl.
Okay, I read it. I read it, but did it sink?
No.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yvonne, where are you?
No, I have not. I've probably
Okay.
read only the first 2 sections.
Okay, Medium,
chapter 2?
where are you in chapter 2?
Yeah,
Ready?
I'm in like the 3rd or 4th section
Okay.
still.
Okay, good. So then why don't let me ask, because Frida is not here today to do her section.
And Crystalline, I re-signed up for, I think it was 2.8, the very last one,
Yep.
but I could really use, I just did it last night and I feel I
Okay.
could definitely use more time with it. Like,
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
is Sarah,
I read
you guys,
it, but
is Sarah gonna come on, or did she change her mind when she signed
Sarah,
up? And then
Sarah thought that she was going to do I didn't, number one, I did not realize that Sarah had signed up for one of the sections. I thought she signed up for a lesson. Did not realize she signed up for a section. So I'll tell you what, why don't, and I'm sorry, Mindy, to answer your question, Sarah is not going to be here today because she is in a retreat, and she knew she was going to be in a retreat, but she wasn't sure of what the timing. She thought maybe she'd have a little break during this time. So, and that's not the case. So she's not going to be able, she's not able to join us. So why don't we, who has read section 5, the function of the miracle worker? Has anybody read that section yet? Mindy and Denise have read it, but there's still stuff that you could check into.
read it, but understand it. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, no, I've read the section 5 because that's what I was going to do my little discussion on. But,
Okay.
so
then
when
let's have you present that today, Mindy.
okay,
I'm going to have you present section 5 today. Section 6 is my section. Fear and no, that's not my section. Sorry. That's Frida's section. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to hop on Facebook and double check.
I'm looking right now. Let me see.
Thank you, Denise. I appreciate that.
Oh, you know what? I only have one person. I took a screenshot, so I actually can't do it. But I mean, yeah.
You said you cannot tell. You don't know who's doing that
I'm
section.
gonna look
I
again.
thought
Okay,
I
I took a
thought Frida-
screenshot of
Okay,
it.
no. Okay, sorry. Frida's doing Principle of Miracle Workers. Nobody has signed on to do Fear and Conflict.
oh,
That
these
was
are the
the one that
principles. Never mind. Okay.
That's the one we did not get. Section 7, Cause and Effect. That's my section. I say, so that we can maintain a level of order, and Frida's not here, why don't we let Mindy do her section, we talk about it, and then we actually end on time today.
Okay.
And then what we do next week is we do Special Principles of Miracle Workers, Fear and Conflict. I need somebody to sign up to do Fear and Conflict, by the way. Then Cause and Effect I have, and the Meaning of the Last Judgment Denise has. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, presentations for next week. Does that sound okay? Andrea, would you like to do a presentation for next week?
Yvonne
Andrea,
says she'll take Fear and Conflict.
yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Andrea, are you there, sister?
Oh, she just typed in that she can do Fear and Conflict.
Okay,
So
awesome.
that's cool. That's good.
Okay, awesome. Very good. Okay, here we go. So function of the miracle worker is going to be done today. No, sorry, you guys. Who's doing section 5, the function of the miracle worker? Is that Frida's?
Mindy's doing
Okay.
it. Didn't
Mindy's
Mindy-
doing that one today.
Right,
Mindy's
yeah.
doing that one today. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm going to take that off. Special Principles of Miracle Workers is done by Frida.
Yeah, section 8.
Okay.
Or, yeah.
And then Fear and Conflict is going to be done by Andrea next week. Cause and Effect will be done by me next week. And then the Meaning of the Last Judgment will be done by Denise next week. Does that sound good? Who would like to do the Principles of Miracles number 7? please unmute yourself and speak up if you want to do that one.
I'll do it. It keeps me
Hold-
accountable to read.
Okay, that's Yvonne.
I'm not holding myself accountable yet for anything just yet because there's some stuff going on with work stuff next week. So until I find
Okay.
out for sure, then I'll, commit.
Okay, excellent. So then does anybody want to do the Principles of Miracles number 8?
I'll do it.
It's a juicy one.
Yeah, I just read it and I was like, I'll do it.
Okay, Miriam, that's you, right? Okay, cool. I'm going to write
Yes.
that down here.
It's a juicy one.
It is, isn't it? Right?
It is. It is. It's a really juicy one.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. First, I apologize. For some reason, my mic wasn't working, but I re-signed it and I just wanted to check. Thank
Okay,
you.
cool. All right. And what about, I liked having the daily lessons assigned. However, I do know that we're all on different days, so I'm okay with you not doing a particular day, but I really love when you all make a post about the daily lessons. Whatever daily lesson you're on is good. So can we keep that up?
Yeah, I sometimes I'll do 3, even though I'm assigned to 1. It doesn't matter, but I just like to continue to share what lessons I'm on sometimes.
Yep, nope, and I want to encourage you to do that because I think it adds a lot. I think it gives us all an opportunity to, to get insight and to communicate. I like it a lot, so please don't stop that, Mindy. Now, who wants to post for Sunday? Does anybody want to post for Sunday?
I do.
Okay, Miriam, thank you.
New moon and stuff.
Ooh, good stuff, good work. New moon eclipse, right? Solar eclipse.
Yes.
Excellent. Monday, who wants to post for Monday? Come on, y'all. Y'all.
Okay, I'll do Monday.
That's Yvonne. Excellent. Thank you, Yvonne. How about Tuesday?
We're talking about lessons, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'll do Tuesday, and you can pick another day out for me too if nobody wants to. So it doesn't matter. I'll do 2.
Okay. Who wants
And
to
I can do Wednesday.
Is that Andrea?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And Thursday? I'll do Thursday since I haven't done one. And what about Friday? Mindy, how about you take Friday? Okay, she's saying yes. All right.
Yes,
Sorry, I'm
yes,
looking at my notebook, which
Sorry.
is why no, it's good. And what about Saturday? Who wants to post on Saturday?
That's a week from today.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Awesome. Thank you, Denise. Excellent. We have everything assigned. All right. So I've gotten everything I need. Shall we listen
Mindy.
to Mindy do her presentation for chapter 2, section 5? You ready, Miss Mindy?
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh shoot, let me put this back here. There we go. Okay, so again, like pretty much what we've been talking about. Like I said, this book amazes me at how it's always the same thing, but just kind of different wording. When the functions of the miracle worker, I'm just going to read a little part first. Before miracle workers are ready to undertake their function in this world, it is essential that they fully understand the fear of release. And what it describes in the section that I read is when we're talking about if we're not creating miracles, it's not right-minded, and that's because we're still in fear of something. When you're creating a miracle is when you've released that fear of anything or whatever it is. whether it be doing a certain gesture out of love, you're going to create a miracle out of it, because miracles are good. They're not necessarily bad. And I believe that everything, not necessarily bad, but it's pretty much like a learning experience. So okay, here I wrote some questions down for myself. So I guess that was my surprise. My favorite part about this section was, and I'm going to read it. Magic is the mindless, or the miscreative use of mind. Physical medications are forms of spells. But if you are afraid to use the mind to heal, you should not attempt to do so. The very fact that you are afraid makes your mind vulnerable and makes your mind vulnerable to miscreation. It's so true. I'm so quick to grab a Tylenol for when I have a headache, even though Jesus states God created all of us to make miracles. My miracle should be to get rid of that headache. A while back, Crystal, you were on, you made like a little video, and it was kind of great to watch your creation through it all, just I think you were getting rid of a headache or something. It just, anyways, that's my part of there. Sometimes I ramble on and I start to forget where I'm at. But let's see, what else do I have here? Pick out the specific passage from the book. Okay, yeah, well, I already picked out the specific passage. I'm like, well, but anyways, I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, I actually liked this because it does talk about like what a lot of our challenges are and what a lot of our questions are about what a miracle is and how we create miracles. And to me, what sticks out the most, and I think I read it throughout the whole entire book, is the fear part of it. And I've I've grown past a lot of fearfulness, and I'm actually reading it. And it's true when, I guess basically to sum it up is when you get rid of the fear and you start realizing atonement at 1 minute, that's when that's when the miracles are going to be created. And I don't know, does anybody have anything else to chime in? Has anybody read anything? There's also a little part right here that I highlighted that says the fear of healing arises in the end from an unwillingness to accept unequivocally that healing is necessary. What the physical eye sees is not corrective, nor can error be corrected by any device that can be seen physically. So it's basically that part about feeling the miracle within you. You're happy, you're at a state of mind, it's just, I don't have the right words to explain it. And just because I don't have the right words doesn't mean I'm not grasping it, if I'm making any sense. But I know it. Like I said, I'm an intuitive, so I feel a lot. And to me, I can always tell when I'm creating the miracles by when I'm feeling it. And
Good.
yeah, does anybody?
Very good. Very good. Mindy, I think that you have a very good grasp on what you feel,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot in this this particular section. It's the function of the miracle worker. It seems like it's a really big section, and there's a lot to it. So, however you want to tackle this gigantic breadth of work, I totally say go for it, man. It's your gig, because it's a lot. And you could do a whole, you could talk for hours just on everything that's in that section. So is there anything else that you want to present?
No, I think I summed it up.
Okay.
I don't want to take up too much time.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to just, does anybody have anything that they want to add to this section or anything that Mindy has said?
I just want to say I can totally relate to the feeling of grasping something and feeling, but then when it comes to the translation process or communicating what it felt like to receive whatever you received from what you read, sometimes it can get a bit there could be like it's sort of like a disconnection happens, like kind of like what's happening to me right now, because it all sort of gathers it all gathers like at the tip of my tongue, and then when I start speaking, yeah, something happens. But I think it's cool that this is an open space to just speak, to just talk, because I think underneath all of this and underneath all of this like verbal talking, our souls are doing something totally different. And we're feeling each other, we're feeling what we're reading, and I think it's important to honor that, because at the end of the day, yes, we're talking about this and it's really cool that we're talking about this. Like, I love talking about all of this, but there's also like a process happening underneath all of it where our souls are like talking to each other at the same time.
Yes, fully agreed, Miriam. Mindy, you want to add anything into that? It's your show.
No, no, not really. I mean, I feel like I'm searching to add something to it, but we pretty much all completed it in this whole entire conversation. We've all talked about it, and even throughout the principles is basically what it states in there. I mean, I can come up with different words, but it's going to all be the same, in my opinion.
Okay, I don't necessarily agree with that at all. I feel like there's a lot more to this than what we've talked about. And I'd like to actually maybe just present some of that if y'all don't mind. I feel like, and I feel like it's really great to understand this stuff on an intuitive level, to feel it. But I also feel like there's a level of depth of understanding that comes when you force yourself to engage with it beyond just what you feel. So whether it's, whether you're working as an herbalist or whether you're working as an aromatherapist, it's one thing to be able to blend, to create a blend, of an herbal concoction, or to put, your essential oils together, and to create something that smells really nice and that makes people really feel good. But for myself as a healer, one of the things that I appreciate, and especially, when I'm, in a learning situation like we are in, is the ability to communicate intellectually as well as spiritually and emotionally. We could all get on this call and just breathe into our hearts, and we can reach one another and it can feel really good. And we would all leave the call feeling very touched in our hearts, and we would be very affected. But we're not just spiritual beings. We're intellectual beings. We're intelligent beings. We're emotional beings, and we're physical. And as we're bringing that to the table, it is really good to be able to communicate a little more precisely, and maybe, providing some examples when you're doing these lessons is really nice, giving us something that we can really chew on and sink our teeth into. Because again, we're not just spiritual beings. We're here with our intellects, and I personally really want to bring many different dimensions to of myself to these sessions together, but I also appreciate it when you all bring many different dimensions to the sessions as well. All right, so I just want to kind of raise the stakes a little bit on what we're working with and how we're approaching the work. Again, we're here as a group, and there's meat here. Some of you are vegan, but even the vegans like to chew their food and they want to extract the nutrition out. They don't want to just drink the juice. They want to chew, masticate, break down the fibers. I'm sure y'all are catching my drift, right? Do y'all think I'm
Yeah,
breaking?
I am. And so
Totally.
next time I'm on one, I'll try to gather more stuff to chew on.
Yes, because and Mindy, look, girl, I know you know how to chew. I know you're going to bring out something and give us something to think about. But this is also why I'm feeling like we gotta slow down the process. It's too dense of material to try to get through and to try to make sense of, to even try to be able to present coherently, because it's too all over the place. Just in one paragraph, for every one paragraph that Jesus gives us, I have 6 questions and like a whole section of stuff. So, there's a lot there, and he's so good with the way that they transcribe this. It's beautiful. It's like so powerful the way they did it, because they gave us so much using so few words. Oh my God. So I'm going to just run through my notes for section 5. And you all jump in and ask me if there are any questions, or if you all have any thing that's resonating with you. So I have chapter 2, section 5, the function of the miracle worker. Paragraph 1. In this paragraph, Jesus ultimately implores us to give up the mind's miscreations. That is, to stop the mind. He is suggesting that the most meaningful application of our creative ability is to induce the mind to give up its miscreation. He explains that we tend to think that release is an imprisonment, and therefore we fear it. Now, for me, in this, that this is something that I've noticed throughout chapter 2. There's the use of this word miscreations, and what I'm seeing with this idea of miscreations is that the mind is constantly creating things that are out of alignment with unconditional love or extension, which is the way God taught us or gave to us to actually create. And the word miscreant has been coming into my mind so often, especially right now, because I'm feeling run down. I'm feeling really sick. I feel like I've been miscreating, and I've been hearing myself call myself a miscreant. And last night I had dreams about zombies, which of course are miscreants. How funny is that? Tell me that A Course in Miracles is not working through the soul level? Yeah, it is. Okay. Anyway, please, if you have questions, jump in, okay? Otherwise, I'm just going to read through my notes and keep on nattering on. Uh-oh, I lost it. I lost my place. Here I go. I found it. I have a note here that says underlying fear. Oh, the idea is that there's an underlying fear that the mind can hurt itself. We harbor a fear that the mind can hurt itself. This gets projected into the physical body. Jesus is helping us to realize that the real self is the soul within. This is what Mindy is talking about. Miscreations of the mind do not really exist. That's a quote I took from the book. And it says, therefore, since the body does not really exist except as a learning device, it cannot create its own dis-ease and illness. I have here for my notes that Jesus gives us an etymology of the dis-ease of harm. And it says that it begins with the underlying belief that the mind can hurt itself. And above that is the belief that harm can be limited to the body, that it does not realize that it itself is sick and injured. So the mind thinks that the body is actually being harmed, when in fact it's actually the mind that is harmed, but the mind doesn't understand that. It keeps projecting its own harm onto the body, just like we keep projecting anger or resentment onto other people, and we say, oh, that person seems really bitter. Well, that's our own projection of bitterness. Or we look at Donald Trump and we say, oh, he's power hungry. Well, actually, he's actually the kind of figurehead for all of the collective unconscious that is power hungry, but that has been suppressed, or that is being repressed and denied inside of ourselves. So the idea that the body can be sick is being challenged here. And he's saying your mind is sick. Like I'm saying I'm run down. Jesus is saying you're not really run down. Your mind is sick. Your mind is run down. In this chapter, Jesus reminds us that only the mind can create, and we are living inside our own heads. So doing repair work on different parts of the dream, which is the body, is fruitless, because we need to focus on repairing the functioning of the mind, which is what I was doing in these 11 days of being sober with food. It's like, okay, I need to lose weight. Well, if I try to go out and diet and exercise, that's not going to help me lose weight. What I need to do is to get sober with food, have a relationship with food that is balanced, which means I have a relationship inside my head that's balanced. I don't need to count calories. I don't need to do anything except to be quiet and to have a healthy relationship between the head and the heart, and then the food intake will naturally occur on its own. All right? In paragraph 2, Jesus talks about medicine as a form of magic and spells, and that if one is afraid of using the mind to heal, one should not attempt to heal. Using the mind. So in this paragraph, he's talking about magic and spells, and he's talking about pills, but he's saying that if you're afraid to, if you, one of my clients has she has a history of cancer in her family, and her lymph node is swollen right now. And she's also been overworking. She's been drinking a bunch of alcohol. And so she's run down, she's run down. She's been partying a lot. She's run down. So it could be that there's an issue with her lymph node, like a serious issue, or it could just be that she's sick, right? So it's not going to do me any good to tell her to just be present with the sickness, with the lumpy feeling. That's not going to help her. She's afraid because of cancer in her family. Therefore, she needs to go to a doctor. So Jesus is saying, if you're afraid for your physical body, go see a doctor, go get some pills, go get some medicine, and do your work at the same time inside. Okay? Are you all following me? Any questions, anything? Yeah, we're good? All right, I keep on going. All right. In paragraph 3, Jesus opens us to the idea of right-mindedness, suggesting that in order to perform miracles, you have to be in your right mind, and that the miracle itself is the restoration of right-mindedness, which to me is confirming what we talked about earlier when I said you don't have to look at what's happening around you to see the miracle. That's not the miracle. The manifestation's not the miracle. It's the right-mindedness that is the miracle. The miracle restores right-mindedness. It puts you back in alignment. Jesus talks about the miracle as an expression of right-mindedness, and that the right-minded neither behave with arrogance for the right mind nor disdains the lower-minded folks. All right, in paragraph 4, Jesus warns of the healer who is relying on his own readiness to perform miracles because he has misunderstood the function of the miracle and how the whole process of miracle and atonement work. The healer doesn't understand that his own participation in miracle making is to simply trust and hold space for the miracle, not to perform the miracle. And Jesus facilitates the healing in the other, and it happens in the way that Jesus and the receiver co-create. So we don't have to worry about performing miracles. You don't have to worry about holding anything in your heart. You don't even have to worry about being prepared. All you have to do is show up and be present and be honest. That will be good enough. In paragraph 5, Jesus states plainly, the sole responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself, the at-one-ment. In paragraph 6, Jesus explains how the body can be falsely endowed with power to create. He emphasizes that the mind is the learner and the body is the learning device. So there's the soul, the inner presence that is teaching the mind, and the mind is learning through the body. If we overemphasize the power of the body, then we're creating obstructions in our own ability to flourish and learn. So if we're focused on our body, if I'm focused on my sickness, then I'm obstructing my own mind, which is why we need silent time. We need to chill out. In paragraph 7, I actually have questions because I did not understand what happened in paragraph 7. If anybody knows what's up in paragraph 7, please let me know. Does anybody have their book open? And can you tell me what's going on in paragraph 7, Yvonne?
Yeah, can I read it?
Yeah,
'Cause
please.
I don't know. Okay.
Thank you.
Corrective learning always begins with the awakening of spirit and the turning away from the belief in physical sight. So I think that's all of our lessons. This often entails fear because you're afraid of what your spiritual sight will show you. This is me. I'm sorry. I'm adding my own commentary.
Yeah,
I said
please.
before that the Holy Spirit cannot see error and is capable only of looking beyond it to the defense of atonement. There is no doubt that this may produce discomfort. Yet the discomfort is not the final outcome of the perception.
What's going on with you?
Oh, it would take forever.
Okay.
When the Holy Spirit is permitted to look upon the defilement of the altar, he also looks immediately toward the atonement. Nothing he perceives can induce fear. Everything that results from spiritual awareness is merely channelized toward correction. Discomfort is aroused only to bring the need for correction into awareness.
Yes. I got confused when I read when the Holy Spirit is permitted to look upon the defilement of the altar, he also looks immediately toward the atonement. That threw me off for some reason.
Well,
although when you read it, I got it for some reason.
I think what it is that we don't recognize ourselves as part of that Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. And this is, I think, what I was talking about with the Trinity, which I'm still not sure I understand the concept, but it was taught to me by someone who teaches at spiritual psychology at the University of Santa Monica.
Yeah.
That we are part of that Trinity. And that's so hard to conceptualize when you're a Catholic or have like even Pentecostal Christian. That was me too in high school. But that we are, that Holy Spirit is part of us, you know? And so when we permit ourselves to see what the lack, what keeps us from the atonement, that we can, we have atoned, like the lack decreases. I don't know if I'm confusing it more, but you know, you get it. You understand.
Yeah, I'm starting to get it. That still is a bit of a confusing paragraph for me. If anybody else has anything they want to add, but I think that you're right, Yvonne. that idea of understanding ourselves as part of the Trinity. I personally see myself as the as the Son, right? I'd be the Son part of the Trinity, as a part of, permitted after being cleansed and purified through through my relationship with the Christ. But that's where I'm going with it.
I wrote a little note. I put, change what you want to see, and what you see will change. Kind of
Oh,
the way you're looking at things. And then I also wrote for atonement too, the undoing of the world of fear and returning to love. I think I'd read somewhere, because we're born not with fear and all that. So kind of returning to how we were born.
yes.
A little bit of that, and that your vision is a choice. And then, and then I also wrote that sometimes we become so immersed in truth that we need to not keep searching for the truth, because if we kind of change our thoughts about the past, maybe that false view will fade from sight.
So you're saying, Denise, that if we change our view about the past, meaning that we release our attachment to the past,
yeah, our attachment to the past,
then we fall into truth.
a little bit, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense to me. Right, because then we're detached from it, and it is allowed to be what it is. It's like, okay, I don't know what this telephone is. I don't know what it's for. My attack thoughts are keeping me from knowing this telephone.
Yeah, and I wrote also that we see what we want to see.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. Good insights, you guys. Thank you. I'll just finish up here. I have in paragraph 8, Jesus speaks of an underlying guilt. Jesus speaks of an underlying guilt and shame over our separation that rests at our core beliefs. We cannot bear to look at our own defiled altar. It's kind of like we were once in like Adam and Eve felt shame once they took that bite of the apple. And they hid, they covered themselves, they had shame. And we're still carrying that ancestral shame right now. And it's influencing us. In chapter 9, Jesus describes the concept of charity as it applies to A Course in Miracles, saying that charity is giving to a cause in need without expecting a return. He says that it is seeing the perfection in another, even though you may not perceive it in yourself. And that's interesting. In paragraph 10, Jesus continues to describe charity as right-minded vision that you can hold for another. It's an act of giving and love. So no tough love. He says, fuck all that tough love stuff. Just love. No, sometimes, Lord Jesus, you've got to dish out a little bit of the tough love, a little bit of the TL's, got to bring it down. Just saying. That's where I was raised. School of hard knocks. Boom, boom, boom. All right. All right, you guys, we can go ahead and start signing off. Does anybody want to chime in anything before we go? Unmute yourselves. Unmute thyself. That's all that cake I ate today. All right, you guys. So I look forward to next Saturday, our usual time. And yeah, right on. Right on, right on. So have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye, everybody.
Lovelies.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, bye, darlings.
Bye.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Okay, see you, Denise.
Thank you.
Bye, Yvonne. Okay, bye, girls.
Bye. How do I hang
Adios.
up?
Bye.
Oh, there it is. Okay, bye.